Alright, welcome back, you beautiful souls. This is James, also known as the Only Zerg. This is part 0B to the new series, What If Goku Mastered the Oozaru form? So, like in the last part, we left off where Goku, during the first stage, Budokai, and I recently looked up some power levels, so I'm going to have to retcon a few things. Goku, from what I've been able to find, there's like Krillin's power level was actually like over 50. So yeah, he's whatever their official power levels are, I would say they're about 20, they're about 15 to 20% stronger. Krillin is the 20 and Goku's would be 15%. So if Goku was at like 100, he'd be at 120, and I think like what I was seeing was 130-ish before the Ultra Divine Water, so we'll get into that when we get there. So after the tournament, Goku, he's told he should probably like travel the world more and to experience things. So he goes through, and he gets to mind you, the interactions that happened with Chi happened, like, and he realized, like, well, cut back to that before we continue with the story, because I just realized I completely skipped over that. Like, I literally completely skipped over that entire bit of dialogue I had written down. So we're going to cut back to when Goku got met Chi-Chi and everything. He doesn't tap her part like he does when kidding. He kind of like, she thinks he's cute, and she asks him to marry her, and Goku's like, I don't know about marriage. We're still kind of young to think about, to consider things like that, you know. But you do seem kind of strong for a girl. And she's like, what is that supposed to mean? And we get the iconic of her kind of knocking like Goku off the Nimbus. And she does come down, and Goku's like, whoa, you really are strong. And then after the whole Kamehameha thing, like with Roshi and everything, Chi-Chi asked Goku, will you remember me? And Goku's like, probably, but we'll see. Just get stronger. Just, you are strong, and you can get stronger. My grandpa and Master Roshi always said that it doesn't matter where someone started. What matters is where they end up. So anyone can get strong. And so they split. So now we're going to cut to Goku traveling the world to find his... Over the years, he had more reverence for the Dragon Ball. It's a reminder of his childhood. So it doesn't have the same exact sentimental value. So he travels the world trying to find his grandpa's ball. He wants to like give it to his grandpa. So this leads into the events of the Red Ribbon arc, and well, when Goku he meets Suno, he's thinking, that whole bit goes like the same. He has a lot easier time in Muscle Tower considering his power level. But if I'm mixing up things, just mind you, this part 0 is to really set up the story up until after the King Piccolo arc. The episode 1 will cover like the tournament, and the last one before the 5-year time skip, and then stuff that happened in the 5-year time skip, and then his interactions with Raditz, which will... Oof. So he goes through Muscle Tower. He gets the ball from Ader. Ader, many of you who don't know who Ader is Android 8, a creation of Dr. Jerome. He dismantles the tower, like in canon. Pseudo asks if she'll ever see him again. Goku's like, I don't know. Maybe. Well, I've got to go. So he goes, and then when he gets to the Red Ribbon Army, like, base, he dismantles, like, the base a lot easier, and unfortunately during this, his tail he accidentally gets his tail shot off, so he's in pain from it, and he's upset because, like, his tail, but he grew to learn how to balance with it in, like, his martial arts. So, someone has this. And then with Tao Pai Pai, like, Goku gets really, like, he gets beat up with that. But an interesting thing happens when he's with Korin. Korin is surprised at this kid's strength, and he tells Goku to return to him after he completes his mission, because he did want Goku to stay there a little bit longer, because Korin was thinking about actually giving him the true Ultra Divine Water, because he gave him, like, a placebo and whatever. So they progress. He completely dismantles the Red Ribbon Army, and our favorite scientist survives this. That bit I will save for later, because that will be an awesome plot twist. And that's actually just side note. So we cut to the next tournament. Goku, he's had a talk. He meets up with his friends. Everyone's like, ooh, surprised. They feel it, that he's stronger. And no, sorry, backtrack. I just got ahead of my notes. I just realized that the Tao Pai Pai happened after the tournament. Well, in any case, all of this happens, like, in canon, up until he goes to fight. He's fighting King Piccolo. Sorry about that. I got things mixed up in my head. So during, like, he finds Krillin, like, dead, and he goes to search for, like, the Dragon Balls to fight him and to get revenge on King Piccolo. When he returns to Korin, like, matter of fact, yeah, we're gonna do this. So all those events I said happened, but we're changing the story a little bit. Sorry about this, but when he's fighting, like, Tambourine and everything, he's having a much easier time, because he's actually just as strong as Tambourine. And he actually does severely injure Tambourine, who barely gets out of there. And he tells King Piccolo that there's a fighter that's as strong as him. King Piccolo, upset about this, basically does forced into making fusion with his child. And gets a little bit of a power boost. So well, yeah, no, yeah, never mind. So we cut to Goku actually returning to Korin and to get sensu beans, and the events of the tournament with him and or no, that was actually later, so scratch that. So Goku, he sorry. So Goku, when before he leaves, Korin tells him about like actually gives him the true like ultra divine water before he goes off to fight King Piccolo. And when Goku takes it, like he like a kid, and like he starts getting into pain, and he's like grabbing his head. He's like, ah, ah, and then like he stops screaming, and then he has a vision. He sees two people, and then he just hears them, and he just hears them, my son, as like they have their hands up against what looks like a glass bit. They're like, our son, survive, just survive, our son. And when Goku he gets up, he no longer has that feeling that he forgot something, and he's thinking about their faces. The guy, he looks kind of like him, a little bit. He looked kind of like the guy, and he's like, were those my parents? I'll talk to Grandpa Gohan about this later. For now, I need to go fight. So he pops the senso bean, gains a really good, like a pretty sizable Zenkai boost. So and as he's climbing down, he notices that he has his tail, and he gets on flying this, and he heads over to where he can, for some reason, he can sense like evil. So makes his way to King Piccolo. The whole dialogue of, oh, you're going to pay, and all this stuff. King Piccolo still like gets his wish for eternal youth, which is something a lot of people forget about, but for other reasons. But he does the whole spiel. Him and Goku get into it. Now, unlike in canon where it's kind of one-sided until Goku gets his rage moment with the Oozaru form, like he does it too, but Goku he feels weird when he feels like he accessed that power in his base form, but it doesn't feel like that exactly. Like he felt like his body was beginning to transform, but it didn't, and he goes through it. Piccolo spits out the egg like in Ken, and this is something that I think a lot of people forget. King Piccolo gave this child all of his essence, including eternal youth. That's why Piccolo doesn't look that old. At least towards the end of Super, he doesn't look like an older Namekian, because Namekians, like, yeah, they have a long lifespans, but they do age similarly to humans to a point, because like they have a hyper accelerated like childhood, and then when they're in their prime, their aging slows down to like near a standstill, but it's neither here nor there. That only plays a role later on for other projects. So after this, Goku is upset because his friend's dead. Well, yeah, this all happened after the red ribbon. So yeah, my bad. What I said earlier in the video. Sorry. I didn't do a detailed notes on that, but Goku he's upset, and then our favorite Dajin shows up on his flying carpet and tells Goku that Kami wants to speak with him. I know in canon, Korin's the one that tells him to use the power pole, but Korin get in contact with Kami and explain that the boy he has some untapped potential, Kami, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help him out with that. And Kami, watching this child over the years, has seen him slowly gain control over his internal rage and everything, and sees this child as a potential, someone that could protect the world, especially with his exploits and the compassion that he's shown to his enemy, so Yamcha. So he says goodbye to his friends, and he tells them to keep training, and he'll see them in the future at the next tournament. So this leads to them going to the next several tournaments, a few of them winning here and there. But Goku never shows up. But but that's for the next part. So during this training, when Goku arrives, he sees Kami walks out, and he does do the initial thing where he faces off with Popo. Popo! Sorry. A little bit of a bridge comedy that just popped into my head. But Goku, he faces Popo and is actually defeats him a lot faster. And when he sees Kami, Goku immediately goes, okay, and Kami barely dodges this. And Goku, Popo's like, Goku, stop, that's Kami. That's not Piccolo. And Kami explains to Goku about how him and Piccolo used to be one, and he's Piccolo was his evil half, and that since he's still here, that means Piccolo survived. He may have used the forbidden technique of Namekian rebirth. So Goku asks, so you created the Dragon Balls? That means my friend. And Kami's like, yes, I could remake the Dragon Balls, but if I were to do that, Goku, you'll have to spend the next 5 years here training with me. Goku agrees, in Kanon, and he sees the dragon come forth, and then the balls disappear, and Goku says, "Thank you, Kami, and I thank you for this opportunity." So in these 5 years, Goku will learn to control himself into Great Ape fully. He's been able to train to be able to distinguish friend from foe, but Kami, seeing the merit in actually learning to completely control this form, does help Goku out. And since Goku's not a wild animal and can distinguish friend from foe, every month or so, well, actually, considering the lookout can actually move, which is canon because I'm not sure if it was Dende or Kame that did it the first time, but we have seen like the lookout getting moved. So Kame would move the lookout to where like the full moon is at, and Goku would look up at it. It would transform, and Kame would insist that Goku meditates while he's in his grade 8 form, which he does, and he gains control. After, I would say it takes about 3 of these 5. No, it takes about half the time. No, wait a minute. It's a 3-year time skip. Sorry, I messed up on that. I thought it was 5 for some weird reason, but I just read 3 in my notes, so my apologies. Goku, it takes him half the time, so a year and a half it takes him to get control over himself, have full mental faculties, and he does try to go into the hyperbolic time chamber. Like in canon, he's only able to I'm saying he's able to last a little bit longer, but it's just too much for him. He comes out, he gets healed, he gets a pretty good Zenkai boost from like the whole ordeal being in there. And so after these 3 years, Goku, since he's stronger, he's learned how to sense ki and everything from Kami. He's gotten a lot more control over his Oozaru form to where he can fully speak in it. He'd be like, he would have the same controls that Vegeta has. So we cut to the next Tenkaichi Budokai, and Goku's wearing a lot heavier weights. So, just like in canon, Master Roshi decides not to participate because he already sees that Goku knows to get stronger and stronger. That's an ever-present journey. So during his fight with Tien, he's having a little bit of a rough time, and then he like cracks his face. He's like, Tien, was it? Do you mind if I actually go all out against you? You seem like it'd be fun. So he does the full thing, takes the weights off. Like his friends come up, and they're like even more so than canon are struggling to move it. Though they are able to move it because they have been training a lot harder. Because Goku will be training in this, and because of the relationship that him and Krillin had, Krillin doesn't want to be outdone by his friend. So Krillin will be actually at a power level of about 200 versus like his 130, 140-ish in canon. Goku will get to that now. So he takes his weights off, and he's jumping up, and he's jumping higher and higher, and Tien very quickly realizes that, oh shit, I should have ended this a lot sooner. Goku leans down, and he smirks, he gets into his fighting stance, and Tien comes in for like a kick. Goku blocks it, turns him around. Tien like turns around, stops. He goes to fly up, and then Goku's like, that's an interesting technique. Your ki, you're pushing your ki out of your feet? Yay, Goku, he jumps up, he's able to hover a little bit, but then drops back down. He's like, dang it, oh well. I guess it's not like the Kamehameha, so... Alright then, he jumps up and him and Tien, he's fighting Tien as he's dropping, and as they get down, Goku, he hits the ground with his leg, jumps up and is able to get behind Tien, and then kicks him in the back, sending him into the wall. And Tien's ringed out. Unfortunately, Krillin is the one that faces Piccolo Jr., or as we know him, Piccolo. So, what happens to Tien happens to Krillin. So, Goku, he walks over to Tien, and Tien's pretty well beat up, and Goku's like, oh, sorry, here, eat this, this will help out. And Tien eats the bean, and he's healed, and he's like, why would you help me out? Well, my grandpa, he always said it's to be nice to people, and well, I can sense you're not entirely evil, Tien. At least from our last bout, I figured you're a pretty good guy. And if you want to get stronger, he looks over at Master Roshi. You can ask him. He's a pretty good teacher. He actually taught me most of what I know. Along with most of what I know comes from my grandpa, but my grandpa learned from him. And Master Roshi, he's really strong and he's a really good teacher. So I would suggest you ask him to train you. And don't worry about that whole assassin stuff. I don't really care about that. But if you get stronger, that means I'll have an even stronger sparring partner. Tien slowly takes Goku's hand as he lifts him up, and and Goku's like, thanks for the great match. You almost had me there with that thing. Can you actually teach me how to do that flying thingy sometime? It's a very useful technique. Tien's shocked by this, and it's like, wow, Master Shin really was wrong about the turtle school. And Goku, during this, he sees what happens to his friend. He's mad. He's angry. He's angry. He's real angry. So when he gets into the ring, he basically came to hand a senzu bean to Master Roshi and told him to give this to Krillin. So Krillin gets healed up, and this is Piccolo has been sensing Goku's strength. Once a month he sees Goku, he senses Goku's power just skyrocket, and the past years he's really hit the training really hard. Now let's talk power level. So, like I said, Goku's been trained. He's been able to control himself in the Oozaru form. Unfortunately, because his power's been spiking like this also has alerted Piccolo. So, unlike in canon, I would say Piccolo is about at an 800. And Piccolo, being smart, realizes that this only happens once or twice a month, and he realizes that it aligns with the moon cycle. So before this battle goes on for hours into the night, and before Goku can transform, you just see Piccolo destroy the moon, and he tells Goku to stop holding back, damn it. Goku goes, Damn, Piccolo. Damn, Junior. You're a tough one. Alright. Goku, he pulls his shirt off the one bit that he didn't, and he tosses it over. Everyone just sees this crater happen. Even Piccolo smirks. Goku and him go at it. Piccolo comes in. He's able to get like a really solid gut punch on Goku. Goku coughs a bit, but then counters Piccolo with a kick to the head, like knocking him down to the ground. Piccolo gets up, is able to kick Goku back, and just like in Kid, and it leads to the giant form where like Goku goes in, gets Kami, pulls him out. Piccolo reverts, then Goku and him finish it up with the iconic of like the foot Kamehameha. Like his iconic Kamehameha foot where he just drives his fist into it. Kami told him to kill him, but Goku, being a little bit smarter in this, realizes that if Piccolo dies with what Kami said, he's like, no. So Piccolo's just laying there down on the ground, like blood coming out. Like Piccolo's out of energy. Goku runs over and gives him a senzu bean, and Piccolo gets up and just snarls at Goku and just flies off. Yeah, and Goku's just standing there looking up like where Piccolo left, and the things with Chi-Chi happen, so he will get married to Chi-Chi like in canon. That doesn't change, and unlike in canon, we'll actually go back to this little bit before we continue with the dialogue with Krillin. He says unlike in canon, he actually recognizes her, and he's not like actually putting an effort with Chi-Chi. He's actually pointing out things that she's doing wrong, like giving her little pointers during their fight, and then like something that shocks her. He goes, "Oh, and Chi-Chi, what you asked when we were kids, you have gotten a lot stronger, but unfortunately, I need to end this right now." And he just, boom, punches her, like, not like a serious punch, but just enough to, like, knock her out of bounds. He walks over to her and helps her up, and he's like, I'm sorry, Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi's just like, wait, you remembered me? And he grabs her and he's like, yeah, I remembered you. I've been thinking about it. If the offer's still on the floor, then it's still up for grabs. I definitely want to marry you. You're a strong woman. Chi-Chi goes, so that will happen. So we cut back to where Piccolo had just flown off. Krillin walks up to him and is like, Goku, how could you let him get away? And Goku, he turns and he looks at Tien, and then he turns back to Krillin. He's like, he's a bad guy, Krillin, but he's not evil like his father. I have a feeling in the future, me and him will be really good buddies. Kind of like me and you, best buddy. As he, like, gives Krillin an extension. He's like, I saw your match. You've gotten a lot stronger, Krillin. So, things progress. So, over the next 5 years, some things will happen. And Goku we'll get into that in part 1, which will be titled The 5-Year Gap. That being said, like this video if you enjoyed it. I'm sorry these past two part 0 has been kind of dry. but not a lot would really change outside of Grandpa Gohan still being alive. So, like the video, it helps with the algorithm. Comment what you think about the series so far, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And that being said, I will see you beautiful souls in the next video.